Hey guys, it's 2Bricks and I'm so excited to be bringing you the next video in my Hogwarts build series. This is so cool. This is the Great Hall Part 2, which is kind of the second major part of my Phase 1 of my Hogwarts build series, which is kind of this entire section of the castle going from the boathouse, which isn't pictured here obviously, up through the rockwork, which isn't pictured here, but stick around to the end of the video, up into the courtyard and into the Great Hall itself. If you guys are interested in this Great Hall, I have instructions for that posted up. You can check them out right now on my Rubricable. There's a separate video for that, and for those who don't know, this dark tan section of tiles right here where I'm pointing to with my finger, this is the part that is the Great Hall, and then underneath that is the part we're going to be looking at today, and this whole kind of front section right here, the kitchens and the courtyard. So check out the Great Hall video if you haven't already, and also the instructions for this set are sold separately and are available on my Rubricable page as well. And we're going to be giving you a full tour today of this front section, the interior of the kitchens. I'm going to set up some scenes and things in here, and you can kind of take a look at the features, including there's even an interior space inside of this tiny little tower off to the side here, and that is Mr. Filch's office. So yeah, definitely a lot of fun, kind of cool little stuff to take a look at today. And if you guys do go ahead and support the channel by purchasing those instructions, all of that revenue does go towards helping me to be able to create more sets, more things like this, larger, more expansive build series, and I really do appreciate the support. So thank you guys again for the amount of support I've gotten so far. It's actually been super incredible and beyond anything that I could have hoped for, so really appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to just give you guys a quick look at the exterior with the hole attached, and I'm going to take the hole off and set up some scenes and show you guys the kind of things you can do with this on its own as a playset. Alright, so obviously starting here at the top and going down to take a look at the rest of the set here, you can see that this all blends together really, really nicely. Everything is, of course, completely, smooth, and everything lines up the way that you would expect it to. So let me just flip this around this way so you can get a look at the windows and the details on this side. Obviously, I made it so that this can still open up with the bottom attached, and Filch's office does not get in the way there. I purposefully made sure that that would be the case, of course. Down here we can see that the bay window connects to a new section that was not previously there. Let me just, get a new camera angle to show you here a little bit more. So this section under here is part of the new set, which is underneath, and then the rest just continues up into the hole here. And then we have just a few details here with some mason bricks and these little lanterns, which are super annoying, and I knock them off all the time. And actually this one's one start over. but yeah, this is kind of an accurate look to how it is with this walkway that's really nicely lit all the way around. And it's just something that I really want to have, but it's kind of annoying because, like I said, they're really small and finicky, and they just get knocked off constantly. So this right here is the main chimney that goes down into the kitchens, and there's actually a fireplace in the Great Hall, and there's a fireplace in the kitchen. So I'll be showing you that a little bit later on. But they do connect to the same flue, and so that's what that is. The walkway continues around here, and then you can see the two floors that are going to be filled in by this corridor section that comes off here and connects to the gigantic stone tower that would sit here in the castle. So you guys can see there's like a corridor or a courtyard. There's a corridor that goes down here, has some windows in it, and then the roof kind of lines up and meets up here with the roof like that, and it all kind of merges together. So that will be a future set that takes you through to the grand staircase tower, and so that's how all of that looks. I really like this section in here where the courtyard meets the Great Hall. It's just some really nice architectural feeling detail in here, and then coming around to the front, the way that this archway completes the front look of the Great Hall. I explained in my Great Hall video that I wanted to have this be separate, and so this is part of the ground floor because I wanted these doors to open and for figures to be able to go in through the front doors, but when this is on the ground level, there's only like a 2-stud height, so figures wouldn't be able to pass under this archway. But now we have the addition of these stairs and this extra level here, figures can go up the stairs, under the archway, through the doors, and into the main Great Hall itself. And everything is all fully connected, and the space makes sense for minifigures to be able to access all the different areas on this set so far. So really, really excited about that. And that's something I really want to try to maintain going forward as much as possible. I really want the figures to be able to, for you guys to be able to kind of play as if the figures are moving about the castle naturally in a way that doesn't require any teleportation. So yeah, so there we go. Let's take a look at the interior of the kitchens and the courtyard with some stuff in it. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and take a look at the interior of this. I've gone ahead and set up a bunch of figures and some little scenes in here, and we can take a look at all the fun, whimsical little scenes that you can set up with this build. So up at the front here in the courtyard, I've gone ahead and set up the firing of Professor Trelawney, and obviously have the relevant figures here. We have a very happy Dolores Umbridge, some students that are watching from the sidelines, McGonagall, and poor old Trelawney and her trunk there getting ready to get kicked out. So yeah, this is a fun space right here, and I really like the amount of figures and things that you can pack into this space, even though it is quite minimal for a large-scale courtyard. And of course this whole Hogwarts build is scaled down, but I think I did a good job of maintaining the level of detail that you would hope to see, and the space that you would need to set up scenes and things. And I made sure that figures, you know, even with kind of hair, accessories and things, can stand in the archways there so they can be posed a little bit further back. Yeah, so we have a couple of torches up here to, you know, accurate to the movie. And then we have all these arches and these little indications of what would be gargoyles that stick out of these sides right here. This little kind of stripe is here in the film. I'm not really sure what it represents, but it's the same color as all of the surrounding stuff here. So I went ahead and, you know, kept that accurate. I put these little kind of pyramid pieces. Oh, let me show you this actually. These windows, the design of them, I really like how it captures the look and the detail that you would want to see from Hogwarts windows in these archways, but they can pop out pretty easily. But I figure, like, you know, if you do want to have easier access, it's nice to be able to pop those off. And because they're sitting on a 1x4 plate, they come off as one. You can just pop them back in. It's kind of annoying when you're, like, you know, trying to move the thing around and you accidentally pop one of these out, but just try to grab it by the edge and you'll probably be fine. But yeah, so I put these little pyramid pieces on the corners here just for a little bit of added class and a little bit of visual detail there, so I like that. I have a kind of uneven surface to the floor here, and that is on purpose. That's to provide structural support throughout, and then just kind of randomize with a little bit of tile detail to make it look like kind of cracked tarmac or, you know, concrete or stone. So I think that works pretty well and is pretty functional. And looking from the back here, you can see there's this walkway, and, you know, Hermione's standing in the archway there, but there's this walkway that continues all the way around to Filch's office here, and then through all the way around the building and all the way through to the other side. This is the underneath support for that bay window, so when the Great Hall is on top of here, that will be connected. You can follow the walkway all the way around, and then enter into this area here, which takes you to a corridor, which leads to the kitchens, and of course here as well connects on the other side. So full access for the students, and then of course going up into the stairs here, they have full access to that. The space under here is hollow. I tried to just keep the parts minimal for that, so it's just hollow. I attached the Dean's Gryffindor flag here from the collectible minifigure series just to give a little bit of visual detail, like it's supposed to be a Hogwarts banner that is hanging down there. I think it looks pretty good. And a little flame torch piece at the end here to give it a little bit of extra detail. And I am putting a couple of the different kind of mason bricks in here just to show some wear and tear. And then also the mason bricks to be visible from the outside as well. Keeping the same technique here for the windows that I used for the Great Hall, so that these match up visually, except obviously these are smaller. And then here we have the actual kitchens themselves. So let's take a look at what the elves are preparing for the students to eat. So starting down at this end of the kitchen, Hermione here is talking to some elves about her Spew initiative and what she would like to do to help elvish welfare, which is pretty cool. And the elves here are preparing some sort of a salad or chopping vegetables for maybe a stew or something. And we have a cutting board over here where there's some chopped veggies already piled up. And here's the kind of unprepped ingredients. And then there's a little rat hiding back there. Rats obviously love to sneak into kitchens and nab themselves some food. We have a little storage area over here. There's nothing actually stored in it. It's pretty basic, just a set of shelves, but I wanted to give the look of some sort of a pantry type of thing. And I think that looks, you know, decently okay. And then the tables here are supposed to mirror what the tables above look like. And I think it's exactly to the stud, or it may be a couple of studs shorter down here. But anyway, they're in the right place, and they give you the kind of visualization of what you would hope to see out of this area. Of course, we never actually got to see inside the kitchens in the movies, so I'm just guessing off of sources from video games and from descriptions, obviously in the book, of what the kitchens are supposed to be like. So I think, you know, this is my interpretation of it. So, you know, I'm just kind of going with what makes sense. So here we have Neville. He's talking to one of the elves about maybe borrowing some herbs for his herbology experiments that he loves to do. And here we have an elf that is preparing chopping some carrots and getting ready to put them on a platter there. We have the dishwashing area here with 2 sinks and just a single faucet and some drawers and a kind of worktop here where you maybe, you know, see that would be like granite or something, and cutlery maybe stored under here. We have barrels and boxes and things all over the place. So I have, where's the other ones? There we go. So barrel there, that one's empty on that side. But we have a couple over here that have some ingredients in them. So we have some like leafy vegetables and some maybe tomatoes or apples more likely in the crates over there, and another barrel. And then over here we have all these goblets and cups or mugs and some plates stacked up, maybe kind of, I'm trying to imagine that they're like magically stacking themselves, so that's why there's one that's kind of finishing off stacking itself onto there, and just a teapot as well for some tea, because, you know, people get thirsty. So that's about it for the kitchens. The fireplace actually connects with the fireplace upstairs as well, so it relies on the same flue. And then it has just a simple grate in the front of that, and just a really little bit of design up in the front here, just a little bit of extra something with some studs to show some architectural detail. But that's it really. So the kitchens are a pretty minimalist space. I wanted to have lots of room in here for you to pose your different elfish figures and other type of characters that would be interacting in this kitchen space. So I think I've left plenty enough room to do that in there. And that's pretty much a whole overview of the usable space, other than the one thing that's left here, which is Filch's office. So let's take a look at that. So canonically, this is where the location of Filch's office has been marked as in various maps and things that I've seen. So I went ahead and decided to convert this tiny little tower into something usable and make Filch's office. So you can see here it detaches and it's just held in with a Technic pin, and this one is just for spacing, just to hold it in place. It doesn't actually have any friction or anything. But in here you can see Filch and Mrs. Norris, and I can actually pop the roof off to give you a better look inside. So you get a little bit of better lighting in there. So Mr. Filch is sitting at a desk and Mrs. Norris is sitting in a cat bed. This is not an official Mrs. Norris, this is just a cat. Hopefully we get one of those eventually. But let me go ahead and take the figures out, and I can give you a little bit of a better look at the details in here, because there's actually a ton packed into this tiny space. Okay, so getting a little bit of a better look in here, we have, like I said, Mrs. Norris's little cat bed on the side there, and the chair for Mr. Filch to sit at his desk. He's got his push broom and a bucket here for doing some mopping. And there's a little inkwell with a quill, and you can see there a letter. This is to represent the correspondence where Mr. Filch is trying to do kind of some learning kind of courses through mail to learn how to do magic, because he's a squib and doesn't have any natural magical talent. Up here is a lamp that is embedded into the wall. It's just a very simple build with 3 pieces, but it's nice kind of gold color. It's I don't know, it just kind of gives like a little bit of a homey touch, I think, to his environment here. And then there's a little shelf with a tiny little space there for a single bottle, which I'm imagining is filled with some non-alcoholic wizard beverages to keep Mr. Filch warm at night. And then up here on the top we can see the Marauders map. This is a version of it anyway. There's actually been several throughout the series, like you can get this larger one here, which comes with the collectible minifigure series, but I just went with this simplistic one that I could easily get a hold of, and yeah, place that on top, because in the movies Fred and George state that they stole the Marauders map from Filch's office, so there that is, waiting to be stolen. And then up here is just what's supposed to be a cardboard box or a little wooden box to have all of Filch's confiscated items that he's taken from students, contraband and things, and place that up on a high shelf so no one can get to it, even though obviously in a world where magic exists, that's not really a thing. And then up here we just have a simple tiled off design here to allow the roof to easily snap on and off. And it's kind of cool, it gives you this look with the little kind of slats in between. Kind of looks like purposeful detail, not just something that's necessary for the structure. And then around the edge here I've just decorated it with some nice rock work and things to match up with when you place the next set underneath this, which is the Chamber of Secrets, this all kind of lines up and creates a nice rock facade. So this is just the kind of top part of that. So yeah, there is Filch's office. I'm really happy I was able to squeeze in so many recognizable details into what is a really, really tiny little space, and have it fit in and still look like it, you know, belongs with the rest of the castle and scales appropriately to the rest of the building. So yeah, really happy with that. Okay, so a quick note on handling this when you're moving it around and you want to be able to put this in a different location. Obviously, first thing to remember is you don't want to move this with the Great Hall on top. You want to take the Great Hall off and then move this. I mean, just structurally, it's just not a good idea. I wanted to pack as much detail with as few pieces into this as possible, and I made it as structurally sound as I could while still maintaining the kind of level of detail that I'd established in the Great Hall. But still, I wouldn't recommend just stressing the parts unnecessarily and, you know, moving this all around as one. So this part is only held in with a single Technic pin, as I demonstrated before. So if you want to move it, you could just easily pop that off until you're done moving it. And then what you want to keep in mind is that right here in the middle part of the build is where the weakest section of it is, because all the two halves kind of come together with the minimal amount of studs holding it. So this is the part where it will want to buckle. So when you do pick it up, I recommend just grabbing it from the front and back and just evenly distributing your weight front to back, and it should hold up just fine. Just don't try to pick it up, you know, near the middle. Don't try to pick it up with one hand, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, it's definitely fine. Like if you want to just slide it around and stuff, it's not going to break on you. Like these might pop out. These are going to pop off. You'll knock these off a lot. And you can just, you know, you can leave them off if you want to, but I think it looks nice to have the complete kind of lit look of the whole kind of side of it. And then when you've put it in your final position where you want it, you can just go ahead and stick this back. Super easy, no problem. So yeah, let me give you a look at everything back together, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Okay guys, so as before, previous video with the Great Hall, I placed the courtyard as it was at that time underneath here to give you guys a look at the next section of the castle. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. I'm gonna give you a spoiler alert. This is the next section of the castle, which is still experiencing a little bit of development work and tweaking the final way that things are going to be. But this is essentially what is going to be the Chamber of Secrets and a mystery room up at the front here, which is buried underneath the courtyard. So that's something that I'm going to be saving until next video, but I'm very, very excited about how all of this is coming together. And you can see here to the side, I have the boathouse connected as well. So I'll be showing you guys all of that next time and exactly how all of this functions and how it will connect into the rest of the castle. And there's so much more to come. But you know, if you're a Harry Potter fan and you're collecting these sets and you're building them along the way, just to give you guys a sense of where we're headed with this and how epic this build is going to be. And the cool thing is, this looks ginormous, but it's actually not even really that big. If you compare this to the Diagon Alley set, it's a little bit longer, it's a lot taller, and a lot thicker than the Diagon Alley set. But if you have space in your house and you're displaying that set, there's probably a good chance that you'll have space and, you know, the ability to get these and display these sets as well. And to me, I don't know about you guys, but I think this just looks amazing. And as somebody who is a fan of the Harry Potter movies, seeing this gives me a lot of joy and pride. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to give you guys the full look at it. I'm not going to show you all the angles just yet. I'm going to save that until next time. It is fully built, but I just want to save some mystery for the next video. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a look at this. So hopefully you're getting a kick out of seeing this and you're excited for where the series is going. And if you are going ahead and building these and you have your Great Hall already, or you know, and you have your boathouse, hopefully this gets you excited to be able to connect all of it together and complete phase 1 of the build, because this is the conclusion of phase 1. Phase 2 will be the massive stone tower, the grand staircase tower that sits behind the Great Hall. So super exciting. So yeah, this is going to be it for today, you guys. Thank you again so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And if you guys, even if you're not, you know, building these or buying these or doing anything of that nature, you're just watching along, I would love if you guys could leave me a like if you enjoyed the video. That also helps to bring these videos to the sight of more people so that those folks who are interested can check it out. So yeah, if you guys didn't like it, thumbs down. Let me know what you think is lame, and I will certainly take a look at your comments. So thanks, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and try to, you know, hurry up and get this part finished so I can get this video out to you ASAP, and we can take a look at the complete phase 1 of my Hogwarts build in greater detail. So thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it, you guys. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, mischief managed.